Hello, true duelists. My name is Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report, a video I make from time to time because I've learned not to put too much faith into a 40-minute video. Cyberstorm Access will be the next core set to release in the OCG following Photon Hypernova. The OCG will receive the set in January of 2023, while we here in the TCG can expect it to be imported sometime around May of the same year. So far, we've seen 8 new cards of the set, all supporting Cyberse decks, namely Firewall and Code Talkers. 2018 players can now fully embrace their PTSD with this new Firewall series of cards, and we'll start with Firewall Defensor. This legless fuck can summon a Firewall monster from your deck if it's sent to the graveyard for the link summon of a Cyberse monster, but will lock you into Cyberse monsters only for the rest of the turn. And for icing on top, it also makes for a Salamangreat Balinx of sorts, being able to banish itself from the grave in place of a Firewall monster being destroyed. Firewall Phantom is a level 5 monster that, if sent to the grave for the summon of a Cyberse Link monster, adds one Cynet spell or trap card from deck to the hand and then discards a card. And you can banish it from the grave to activate its second effect, which is to shuffle a Cyberse monster from your grave into the deck during the end phase. Is this good in Cyberse? Hell if I know, but I do know that it is a level 5 monster without an effect to summon itself that requires you to send it from the field to the grave, so I'm gonna lean that it's not that good. It's probably bad. Cyberse Sage is a new level 1 tuner ritual monster that can be summoned using Cynet Ritual. During the main phase, it lets you fusion summon a monster by banishing the materials needed from the field or graveyard, but you have to banish at least one Cyberse monster included in the fusion materials. Being able to summon any fusion monster is neat, but the Cyberse restriction not only makes sense, but is also a little bit stinky, and probably means it's only going to be played in dedicated decks. Its other effect is that if it is sent to the grave as the material for a synchro summon, it can target one Cyberse monster or ritual spell in your graveyard to add it back to your hand. This one card alone fuels 3 of the card types needed to use Firewall Dark Fluid Dragon's effects, which is kinda cool, I guess. But catering to me specifically, it's not a dragon, so why would I want to play it? Answer that, Konami. I just do not want to use not dragon cards when summoning my big dragon cards. Okay? I would rather use the legless fuck. Really though, it seems like this is the type of card that's necessary for a Firewall deck, specifically if your end goal is Dark Fluid, despite my qualms about the artwork. It is also the first level 1 ritual monster released since Relinquished. Not even Drytron has a level 1 ritual. Useless knowledge, but it is neat. Cyberse Disabworm? This guy is a new Cyberse Fusion monster, needing any Cyberse monster and any Cyberse Ritual Fusion Xyz Synchro or Link monster. During the main phase, it can summon any Cyberse monster from your hand, and then will make its level become the same as the summoned monsters. That immediately sets up an Xyz summon, so they're really pushing that whole Dark Fluid thing, aren't they? Its other effect is a graveyard one that requires you to control a Link 4 or higher Cyberse type monster. But if you do and your opponent activates a spell or trap effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard to negate it. Is this a generic extra foolish burial target for decks playing access code? No, not even remotely. Technically yes, but please do not. Really, it's a nice extra buff for Cyberse decks, but is it worth playing? Fuck if I know, I don't play Cyberse, so on to the next one. It's Firewall Dragon Singularity. Damn, that is a sick looking dragon. Holy shit. That is a certified boss monster right there. This is the second Link 6 monster in the game, if I'm not mistaken, giving the opponent 3 arrows in the extra monster zone, and you get some nightmare unicorn-ass arrows for yourself. Its first effect is a quick effect, which lets you target cards the opponent controls and/or in their graveyard up to the number of different types of monster on your field or in your grave. Types of monster being Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz. You can then return the targets to the hand, and then this card will gain 500 attack for each. And its other effect is if a monster it points to is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, it can target a Cyberse monster in your grave and special summon it. You can tell they at least learned to nerf Firewall cards, because this one actually has a hard once per turn on both of its effects. Which is probably healthier than not, but it's also a Link 6. Its bounce effect is arguably harder to pull off than the OG Firewall's bounce, and the revival is neat, but hardly broken. Compared to the @Ignister Link 6, this one here seems pretty damn underwhelming. But in regards to Firewall links, that is a whole hell of a lot better than what we had to deal with in 2018, so I'm not complaining. Plus, it looks cool as shit. Protect Code Talker is a new Link 3 with arrows on it. Yes, it does indeed have arrows. This Pokemon X version exclusive looking motherfucker has two effects. The first makes it so your opponent can't target your Link 4 and higher monsters with card effects and makes them indestructible by battle. And the other effect is a graveyard one, allowing you to banish Link monsters whose Link rating equals exactly 3 to summon itself from your graveyard, but can only be activated if you have a Firewall Link monster. What makes that neat is that it is a quick effect. Is that important? I don't know. I guess it can be used to force a redeclare of an attack in the battle phase or some shit. To no shock, it'll be banished when it leaves the field, but it probably won't be on the field if I had to guess. I don't know. At the end of the day, this does make for easier Link climbing, I suppose, so there is that to consider. Cynet Rollback is a new quick play spell that can target a banished Cyberse monster and special summon it. And during the main phase, if you have less than 2,000 life points, you can banish it from your grave to take 2 banished Cyberse monsters and add them to your hand. Yeah, it's a quick play Reborn for any Cyberse, including Links, so it seems decent. I have no idea how much banishing that Code Talker decks do, but this coupled with Protect Code is at least some amount of synergy, right? Seems to be the case to me. It's all making for some very easy Link climbing and a turn length long enough for you to go and make yourself some dinner in the midst of a duel. Because God knows Code Talker turns are long ass turns, man. Long ass turns. And lastly for the Cyberse is the new Trap, Cynet Circuit, whose main effect lets you target a Firewall Link you control and summon any number of monsters from your grave to zones it points to on the field. And again, if you have less than 2,000 life points, it has a graveyard effect by banishing itself. This one will let you return 1 Firewall Link monster from your grave to the extra deck and then special summon it back from out of your extra deck. Why doesn't it just revive it from the grave? Are they worried people will use 2 of this over the course of 2 turns to keep reviving the same underwhelming Link monsters? We asked a kid from our locals who told us that his Jinzo deck is actually the best deck of the format. And his answer was also that, yes, they are afraid of people using 2 of this over the course of 2 turns. That sounds scary. Thank you, Tim. You definitely are 12. And real. What a fucking segment. I'm not gonna pretend to know whether or not these are any good. From what I've gathered from other people who have a better understanding of Cyberse than me, there's about 2 solid ones and also some fluff. The real takeaway is once again just how cool the new boss monster looks, because that is a boss monster. Firewall Dragon was a little goofy looking. This guy looks mean, and I support that. Oh, and also, where are his legs? We also saw 2 new cards revealed from the OCG 2022 holiday set, the Secret Utility Box. Up first is ROKKET Coder. ROKKET Coder, a new piece of support for both Code Talkers and Rockets. Pretty fitting for this video. This is a level 4 Cyberse type monster, but is treated as a Dragon type monster if it is used for the Link summon of a Boral monster. And it has 2 effects that both help you Link summon from monsters in the hand. Or using Link monsters in the hand. I can't speak. It lets you Link summon by using other cards in your hand. It's neat, it's cool, it's good maybe. If a Cyberse monster you control is used as link material for a code talker specifically, then you can use this guy in your hand as link material for that summon. And if you link summon a Boro monster using this card on your field, you can use a Dark Attribute monster in your hand as material as well. It's not terrible, but it doesn't float on destruction, so it's a fake ROKKET monster. Way to go, Konami. This is totally useless according to like the first wave ROKKETs got in 2017, but not really. It seems decent, but also like Dragon Link's already got enough. I don't think this is gonna do much to change ROKKETs. Maybe it's decent in Code Talkers though. We also got Last Hope Numbers, a new spell card that is always treated as a Galaxy Eyes card. It lets you pay half of your life points to target 2 monsters in your grave, summon them both, and then immediately Xyz summon a number monster using those 2 monsters as material. It has a hard once per turn, and after you've summoned the Xyz monster and you've used this card, you can only summon 1 more time from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. That is right, Konami took a good hard look at the Galaxy and Photon archetypes, saw all 14 of their extenders in the deck's crippling lack of a starter card, and said, print another extender. Surely 12 more cards like this will be what is needed to fix that deck into a more playable state, and not, I don't know, a normal summon that isn't named exactly Galaxy Knight. A man can dream for better support, and it seems we as a community are going to continue to fucking wait for it. And lastly, this week is a new V-Jump promo, even more support for Sky Striker. Yes, the manga for Sky Striker seems to be set to give the deck multiple pieces of support, starting first with this one, Love Magus Ciala. This card is a level 6 water monster that's always treated as a Sky Striker card and has 3 effects. The first is that it can be summoned from the hand by discarding any spell from your hand to the grave. That's good, it summons itself. And on the field, it can banish any spell card from your grave in order to give control of itself to the opponent, and then you can summon a Sky Striker monster from your graveyard. That's bad. Kinda. I mean, it doesn't target what it revives, which is some copium, but I don't think it's good. I don't think Sky Striker was like, finally, the monster reborn, but I have to discard a spell and give my opponent a monster to monster reborn. And lastly, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, it can add a banished spell card back from the banished pile to your hand. So if you use all 3 of its effects, the same spell that you pitch can then be banished to give to the opponent, and then you run it over in battle and get that same spell card back. Which technically means you'll kind of plus at the end of the day. Not really, you'll break even. But if you bring back Kagari with its effect, you'll plus. So that's not too bad, right? Yeah, this seems like it does nothing that the deck is needing to do to be a little better, which seems to be the trend in regard to the manga Sky Striker support. But hey, look at that. It's a woman, and she's in a maid outfit. Based on how many people are fond, let's say, of Dragon Maid cards, I'm sure people will like this card just for the art. Binder fluff is hardly the worst thing to be printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! No, there's the Ice Barrier archetype to be the worst thing printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! What a disappointment that is. And so that'll wrap it up, you son of a bitch. And so that'll wrap it up for today's new card report. Just covering the new cards in this video. The regular update will be out tomorrow as is usual. Until then, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to Yugioh Strats so you too can become a true duelist and get yourself a smoking Italian wife. Still love that joke.